Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Hope everyone's doing well. And today I'm just doing a little project update and what I've been up to the last few days and all that kind of jazz. So I hope you stick along, you get some information and maybe help me out because I have some questions for you as well, because there's some things that I've stumbled that I've been trying to figure out, and maybe you all can give me a hand and help me out too if you've ever come across these things that I'm going to ask you. So first of all, this hat I'm wearing is pattern is by Crystal from Bag a Day Crochet, one of her hat patterns, if anybody's wondering. I don't have the ball band left of the colorway I did. I just had one ball of it. I purchased it in a mixed bag from a secondhand store local here called Value Village, and I just liked the earth tones of it and knew I just wanted to make a hat for myself out of that. So also the next order is on my mannequin here, if anybody is interested. This is a size large that I tested for Century Box Designs. You can also find her as MJ Off the Hook Designs. It's just her clothing label that she has called Century Box Designs. And this pattern here is called Sunset Stripes Tank. You can find it in my project page under Ravelry. So if you go to Century Box Designs, look under projects, you will see me wearing this tank. Okay, and on the back, here's the front, and I love the back. It has a racer back. Check that out. It fits beautifully. So if that pattern interests you, it's a paid pattern. Of course, because I tested it, I got it for free. But that's what you get when you test a pattern. You get the pattern for free, and then you get to test the pattern for the designers. So you don't get actually physically paid any money or anything for doing anything. They just ask you to test and then get your pattern paid for free. You use your own yarn and everything. That you don't get yarn from them or anything like that. It's just a kind of a pleasure. That's what I find. It's just a pleasure to test designs and give your feedback to their designs and everything, their grammar, their punctuation. They want all your input, not just of the stitches that are used and how it's coming together, but also how it's worded, how it's written, or the way it's written, like punctuation, grammar, everything counts. So they want to know any feedback. If you ever test from any designers, give all the feedback you can. Even capital letters mean everything. So sometimes there's certain things like when you use short forms, and the short forms are supposed to be, so certain letters are supposed to be capitalized and certain ones smaller. They need to be that way in the pattern as well. So if there's a mistake there, they would want to know. So if you're ever a pattern tester, make sure to go through the written pattern all the way first for all those kind of things to make sure they didn't overlook something. So I've been kind of busy this week with odds and ends, like doing like household chores, doing things like searching for things on the internet that I've been putting off. So I kind of have a list of things that I've got to do in between doing videos. So things that I've been putting off. So this past weekend, I put together my 2 parcels to send for the fairy video for the Christmas in July fairies. So the one is the winner that won on my channel, and the second one will be the finalized winner, but that's being drawn this Friday, so everybody get all excited. Oh my gosh, the big one on Dana's Wonderlust Crochet is getting drawn this Friday, and my winner is from Florida, so I'm not too sure on shipping costs. I just know that it doesn't matter. I've mailed a hat, a crocheted hat, to people out west in my own country, and it costs $15 to $20 just to mail a hat. I mailed a parcel, I won't say to who, out west as well, and it was in a box, and it cost $26 just to mail it. and it was just something crocheted. I could not believe it. And so I'm just wondering, to another country, how much it's going to cost. So I'm doing a couple of things. I'm going to bring a bubble size envelope to see if it's cheaper to mail the items in that, or a box, because in Canada, they not only, when you go to mail something, it doesn't just go by weight, they also measure by size. So sometimes it's more money to put it in a box. Sometimes it's more money to put it in an envelope. I don't know how it works. It's supposed to be some math solution. I don't know. So maybe if you're from Canada and you know how they do it, I should look it up online, but I just have not had a chance with everything that I've been doing lately. So I've got to figure that all out. But I also thinking, if it's somebody that wins from overseas for the final draw, that I'll probably be just doing pick a pattern on Ravelry, a paid pattern under so much money, and I'll pay for that, and I'll buy one, whatever they choose. I don't know if Ravelry allows you to gift. I'm pretty sure they allow you just to gift it. But if they don't, I will make sure I buy this pattern and then also purchase it for the other person. But they will choose. I will let them choose whatever pattern, because maybe they're not a crocheter, maybe they're a knitter, maybe they're a sewer. I don't know, or maybe they're not even into yarn crafts. Maybe they're just a viewer and enjoy our videos and wanted to join in. So maybe I would just send them in a card, maybe a gift card to somewhere. I'm not sure. Or maybe Amazon. Maybe I can do an Amazon and just send them something that they choose under so many dollars. I'm not sure. So it just really depends on the price, because I'm sure I've heard somebody from Canada said that just to mail a little box was like $90 to mail it to somewhere like Australia. $90. I would rather give them something for half that price and then send it through Amazon. It's not like I don't work outside the home. I just have my crochet little business where this area, you can't ask for a whole lot of money for things. People just turn up their nose and won't take you up on your price. They don't understand how much yarn does cost and how your time is valuable, but I never really get much for my time. Like a dishcloth, I get a quarter. And even my knitted ones that take you two and a half hours to make a knitted dishcloth, and you make a quarter. So trying to do the math on that, I know I've made things like large stuffed animals that you've seen me do. I make $20. Takes me 2 to 3 weeks to make one for $20. I'd be better off to work outside the home, right? So, and my channel doesn't get an income. I don't have any way of making money. I'm not monetized. And even if I was, you need like hundreds of thousands of views and hours. So I'm not in it for that. I'm in it to teach, to interact with people of the liked crafts. So, and I really, really enjoyed that. Speaking of individuals corresponding with you, I didn't get back to everybody from yesterday, because yesterday I did a big list of stuff that I needed to get done, and I was puttering, doing a whole bunch of searching online for a bunch of different things, some that I'm going to talk about, some that I'm not worth putting on the list. But so I was pretty busy yesterday. I also made my son, our family is keto, if you haven't heard that. So we don't eat bread. So there are keto type breads out there, but they're quite costly. And so I don't know if you've heard of these things called chaffles. What they are is, like, I have little mini waffle makers, and I bought them at Bed Bath & Beyond online, and they're basically made out of, like, when you heat up the waffle maker, I call it chaffle because that's in the keto world, that's what we call them. You sprinkle a little bit of grated cheese, mozzarella cheese, because mozzarella is very neutral flavor. mozzarella cheese, then you mix up in a mug, just 1 egg, 1 tablespoon of almond flour, a half a teaspoon of baking powder, and then some from Costco. It's everything but the bagel seasoning. I shake it 3 times in the mug, and then mix that all up, and then put about a little less than half of that mixture into the hot chaffle maker, and then you sprinkle a bit more mozzarella cheese on the top, and then you close the lid, and then you let it sit there about 3 to 5 minutes depending. I like them crisp on the crispier side. Some people might like them a little less cooked. That's totally up to you. I also like them a little less cooked if I'm going to reheat them, because they're nice in the toaster. And there's only 1 net carb for the 2 chaffles. So 1 or 2 net, maybe it's 1 net carb for 1 chaffle. So you're having 2 net carbs for 2 pieces. So if you go to have a burger, and I just make my burger patties out of ground meat, and so my whole burger would be 2 net carbs just for my whole burger. So I make a bunch of those every single week for my son, because he takes a lunch to work and he just makes them into sandwiches. So he buys his sliced meat and his cheese and everything, and he puts just mustard, which has no carbs in it, and he brings those like every day for work. So they're very filling for him. So it gives him a vessel to hold, because he works in an automotive shop. So he washes his hands first, of course. They're washing their hands a whole bunch of times now. They're going through the hand soap like crazy, he said. But yeah, he gives them a way to eat some meat and keep up, eating the keto lifestyle, even though he's very busy at work. I try to keep up with messages on YouTube, but the more and more videos I find I've put out, the more and more messages I get, which is wonderful. I absolutely love corresponding with everybody. I'm not sure there'll be a time when I can't answer everybody back. I really, really try to say a little something. I mean, on the fairy video, if people just said congratulations to the winner, I just clicked the heart. That was it. But if they put congratulations winner and they said something to myself, then I just put a little something underneath, personalize it, right? But it takes a lot of time. Like, I try to do it twice a day to kind of cut it in half, but I get a lot of messages, and it's wonderful, because before I would never be able to chat about yarn as much as I like, and now I feel like I'm able to chat about yarn like crazy, and I'm just loving it. Absolutely loving this little community of ours. It's just amazing to me how many other people, like, I would go shopping before and go to the yarn section and have the odd person that might talk to you, but now it's just like, oh, I can't, it's indescribable, honestly, just indescribable. I just feel the passion from a lot of other people, and that's what I love. Like, that I'm not crazy about being crazy about yarn. That's pretty much it. I hope I'm not stumbling for words today. I've been really trying to not stumble for words. I watched one of my videos back, and it was cringeworthy to me, because I just kept stumbling for words. So I said, Barb, you better get more prepared and write everything down. And I talk a lot, I notice, with my hands. Oh my goodness, my mom even commented, I watched your video the other day, and she says, you can tell that you have some French in you, because you like to talk with your hands. Yeah. And it's like, yes, my grandfather was French. He was pure French. Like, he had a French accent and everything. And then my fraternal grandmother was Irish, so I don't know if they talk with their hands as well. I've never met her. She actually passed away the day after my father was born. She died from complications due to childbirth. So my dad was born without a mom, and that was very, very sad. Many years ago. I since lost my dad as well. So on to talking something about me without using my hands. I've been also watching other fellow podcasters. I don't watch too much TV. I don't have a satellite dish. I don't have pay for cable. We try to go as minimal as we can with that kind of stuff. So we do a lot of online watching. So I don't know if you know about Kodi. It's you could buy we call it the box, but we buy a streaming box. In Canada, it's not illegal to stream TV shows or movies. It is illegal to download them. So we do not download them. We just stream them. So that's like watching Netflix. I also pay for Netflix, and actually my Netflix and my what's that other one? Amazon Prime. So you can watch Prime TV. But mostly we watch Kodi or on Kodi, and I watch YouTube videos. So what I've been watching lately, just to name a few, I'm a knitter as well, so I do watch some knitting podcasts. The knitting podcasts, if you're interested in any of those that I watch, are the Grocery Girls. I think it's called Grocery Girls Knits. Also another one with two gentlemen is called Needles at the Ready. Really enjoy that. They're Kevin and Ray. Very, very nice young lads to watch. They're podcasting from their home. They have a puppy, and he's so cute. His name starts with a T. I don't remember. It's a really unique name. Then also a married couple of gentlemen also, Sweet Tea No Shade. I really enjoy watching them too. They're fairly newish knitters, like within the last decade, but they do wonderful works and have lots of information to share. And that's it for, oh no, and also another knitter / crocheter. So I'm dipping into the crochet side. Derek the Knitwick Strong. Hi Derek, good to see ya. I watch his as well. He pretty much podcasts every single day, just gives daily updates. And another crocheter, Knotty May's Way. Hey girl, I watch her as well. She's also a daily podcaster right now. A wonderful woman. Check her out. I also, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, she streams live The Secret Yarnery with Krista. She podcasts Eastern time. It's 10 a.m. Well, 10:05. By the time sometimes she comes on, it's 10:15, 10:25. She's from South Africa in Kenya, and she podcasts. She's busy with children. She's got a family, a big compound she lives in, and leads a pretty interesting life, but she's a fellow Canadian. But she just met a man in Africa, and she married him, and they live in Kenya. And she's got a lovely podcast there. So she does a live, talks to people live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. On her, like if you're from South Africa, around her way, it's 5 p.m., 5:05 p.m. she starts podcasting. And then another one also that I try to watch is, I try to catch them live, but I'm not sure if there's a certain time each day that they do. Triple C and Joe Show, and her name is Dana, and Joe is her husband, and I watch them as well. I caught them live twice now, but I don't know if it's my internet, but it keeps cutting out, and I can't, those sentences keep cutting on me, and it's very, very blurry picture. So I'm not sure if that's on my end when I'm trying to watch it on my device, or what's going on. So I normally can't watch it live. I have to watch the replay of it. So I always make sure to comment on their videos, and when I can. This week's been crazy busy, and I haven't been able to watch too much, but those are some of the ones that I watch like all the time. But I'd like to do some shout outs as well to a couple channels. Katrina at Katrina's Crochet World, wonderful woman, does some great work and shows her works and shows her yarn hauls, and I absolutely love watching yarn hauls. So great way of explaining her yarns and what she purchased and where she got them, everything like that. So go check her out. And also, I've been enjoying watching Seta's Place. She just tested a pattern for a, I guess it's like a tank top slash t-shirt. Kind of, the pattern was made originally with cotton yarn, but she made it with Karen Big Cakes, and it turned out beautiful, beautiful. I love watching her channel. It basically was like two crocheted squares, but it had a beautiful design. Like one was for the front, one was for the back, and then it had chains all across the shoulder. There was two areas, and there was like two chains. I don't even know how to explain it. And then there was some attaching it at the side too, instead of just darning it together. There was chains to hold it together, so you wear a tank top underneath. Oh, it looked beautiful on her. Just gorgeous. I can't wait till that pattern's released. It's not her pattern. She tested it for another designer. Gorgeous pattern. Go check out her YouTube channel. You'll probably see it as her latest one, and then you would be able to say, oh, that I would like that pattern, as did I. So, and this pattern designer is just new, I guess, so check out her channel as well. She has it linked under her video. So I didn't start watching her channel yet, ran out of time last night. So also on TV, so on Kodi, you could watch any TV show from any country, and you could start at season 1, episode 1, with no commercials. So I watch myself a show called The Incredible Dr. Pole. He's all about a veterinarian and his practice. Oh, I laugh, I cry, oh my gosh, I just love animals, so I watch that sometimes as I'm crocheting. I don't know if you're aware of the TV show. It's a reality TV show called Alone. I'm addicted. I've watched it since season 1, episode 1, and I watch week to week. So as they're loaded on the Kodi, I watch it. So it airs Thursday nights here in Canada, and I don't know what time it plays Thursday nights, but by Friday morning I could watch it. So, but I just watched the episode Monday night. So I leave it for the weekend, and then I usually watch it about Sunday night or Monday night. So, and then last night I watched a couple of shows with my husband. Mountain Men. I don't know if you're familiar with that reality show. Great show. I love Tom on there. He's awesome. He's just a soft-spoken and has amazing tricks, and have learned so many different unique things of the ways that's passed down from generations, like everything from skinning different furs to trapping beavers to making knives, like, and everything in between. And we started back up. We used to watch this show years ago called Medium, and with Arquette's daughter. I can't think of her first name, but yeah, it's Medium. She works with the DA or assisted DA and tries to help solve murders, and she dreams, and when she goes to sleep she dreams, and it's like she's psychic, so she could see what's happening but only in pieces, and she helps solve the murders. So we're on season 3 of that one. So on to a little bit of yarn talk. So I've been making those squares for that gift that I showed you. I've shown you in multiple videos now, so I won't bother showing you that. But I came across something. I purchased the yarn, all the same spot. I know you're supposed to check die lot numbers. I did. But I want to show you something. Even sometimes if the die lot numbers are the same, make sure to look that they're the same. Check these out. Does this look the same? What do I think happened? Well, either at the store that I purchased them, which was Walmart. See, this is all the violet. Yeah, that I understand. This looks like the violet in the middle up to about here. And then from here to here, it looks like the one I bought that are all the blues. It looks like somebody just kind of, I don't know, at the place factory where they make it, they ran out of the purple on the spool and then they accidentally put the blue on top of it. I don't know what happened. Or at the store, if there was all maybe apart, but I can't see them being able to cake it that well at the store level. So I really think this came from the factory like that. Yeah, just pay attention to your eyes, make sure they work out. So now I'm one short. So, and I can't even use this on the border, I don't feel, because it's not going to work up properly. So I'm just going to use this for a hat, to make some hats like this. So I couldn't believe my eyes when I looked and went, oh my gosh, I should have looked more than just at the label. I'm also working on that Better Together Afghan with Mikey at the Crochet Crowd. Oh my gosh, I remembered it all. And I'm using the Karen Big Cakes. Yeah, look, just a little bit of yarn out of the middle. And this is where I am. I'm not done week 2 yet. I'm on the doing the Catherine's wheel, and they take quite a while to make the rounds. I'm on row 19 out of 26 or 28. I don't remember, but you'll notice that it grew a lot since I showed you last week. Oh my goodness, we're all tangled up. Here we go. I can barely fit it all in the screen now. Last week I showed you I had just done up till here. And so here's the Catherine's wheel. That's from this week, all this area here. I wasn't sure about it at first. I was seeing the pattern and I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks so confusing. I don't even need the pattern to look at the pattern anymore. It's just a 2-row repeat over and over and over to make those circles, and I absolutely love it. I think I would love a whole Afghan done with that stitch. It's gorgeous. It's working up really, really nice. So that's another thing I'm working on. I was working on that the Hug Shrug shawl from Krista at the Secret Yarnery, and I kind of found, as I said in the other video, that it was hard to see the stitches. Like she wanted to go in the V stitch and then the single crochet, but with the yarn I chose, it just wasn't working out. So I tore that all out, and then I'm going to choose a new yarn to do with it. So I still want to make the Hug Shrug, but I kind of put it on the back burner for a while, a timeout. We can't always love every single thing we start. We might start it, and I'm just glad I wasn't halfway through. I mean, I was maybe an hour into it when I realized, oh, that's just not going to work. And I wanted a special project for that yarn I was using. So if I wasn't going to be happy with it, I didn't want to use it. I wanted it to be a really special project. It's really beautiful, beautiful yarn. So it has a little bit of alpaca in it. It's super soft. So maybe I'll just do a plain cowl hat set or something just simple, not a fancy stitch, because you won't really see the stitch work with the alpaca in it and the variegated color in it anyway. So I think I'll put that on a timeout for a while and figure out which yarn I'm going to use. Maybe I'll use a solid color yarn, especially for the first time making it through the Hug Shrug, because I think it would show off the stitch work a lot better. So do I regret making it? No, because now I know how to make the pattern, and it'll probably be so easy to me next time, because it was so difficult with that type of yarn the last time I tried to make it. So no regrets. I've took out my steamer that I showed you there last week, I guess, and been playing around with that, trying to get some blocking done for my projects, because I have so many squares. Like this is this is one of the squares. I know I showed you before, but this pattern here is, I just love it. So I'm making a couple Afghans with that pattern, and every one of them are different. I call it my scrappy Afghan because I just love the way it turns out. It's going to look so unique looking. So it won't be done. It'll be quite a while before I have either of them done. They're both in the stages where I'm planning on where to put the squares, and then I've got to block them all, And then I've got to join them all, and then I want to put a border around as well. So I'll probably show you once I get them blocked and put together, and then I'll show you after the border's on as well. Hopefully the people that they're for do not watch my podcast, because I don't know, I don't want to say who it's for, but at the same time I should just probably tell them, just look away if this is you, so you don't get ruined by the surprise. I highly doubt either of the people are going to be watching me anyway. They know me very well, but I don't think they're going to be watching me. So if you think you're watching me and you think I might be making something for you, let me know, because then I'll tell you which episode not to watch. So especially if you don't want to ruin a good surprise, because it'll be a while yet before you get the surprise, but it takes time to make it and do all the steam blocking and everything. So just let me know whether you see me the next time, or let me know, text message, call me, whatever. Oh, I want to show you a book I'm reading. My son and his fiance got me for, not this past Mother's Day, the Mother's Day before. This past Mother's Day, they gave me another one along the same line. I'll show you that another time. But The Tattooist of Auschwitz. So I'm reading this book. I grew up some of my years as a child in Germany and have, you know, some love of German culture, and this is a sad, sad past. Very, very sad. But I'm interested in knowledge, and knowledge is what I enjoy. And to me, just ignoring something doesn't make it go away, doesn't make it any easier. So for me, I like to know. I like to know as much as I can. I'm only on this earth once, and I like to learn about what I can, maybe learn from other people's mistakes, I guess. And I don't know, that was not a mistake, that was a tragedy, that was so much more. But this so far is the life after for some people. So you'll see on here is their number from the camps. So, and it's about their life, I guess, after everything had happened. I don't even know, because it's such a touchy subject and you don't even know how to dive into it, right? So it's just, yeah. Here's a little quote. I tattooed her number on her left hand, and she tattooed her number in my heart. But just a little something. I got this at Costco. No, I didn't get it at Costco. My son got it. Maybe he bought it at Costco. I wouldn't know. He does shop at Costco, but he shops at Kohl's bookstore as well. So that's more than likely where he got it. So as I read this, I'll have to give you updates. I'm only one chapter in, so I'm not very far in, but it's hard to put down because it's a really, really well-written book. I showed you that I bought this on my purchases one other video. It was still in the package, and I was wondering how large it was. It turns out it's pretty large for a sock bag, so I figured it's great for a hat or a cowl bag, not a sweater. I wouldn't put a sweater in this. It wouldn't, all the yarn and everything wouldn't fit. So I started knitting a cowl called the Sockhead Cowl by Kelly McClure. And it's a free pattern on her Ravelry page. If you go there, she also has a Sockhead hat. I haven't did that one yet, though. I thought I'd start the Sockhead Cowl. You might recognize my yarn that I'm using for it. So I'll show you the yarn. I'm using Snuggly Stripes Wool by Loops and Thread. It's a #1 sock weight yarn. Wow, look, it would match this. Kind of would match my hat as well. I just started it last night. Oh my gosh, I learned something. I was so impressed with myself. I learned how to do the German twisted cast on last night. It's a cast on that, I'm getting this all mixed up. It's a cast on that leaves a very loose cast on edge, so that when you go to put on over your head, it stretches a little bit, so it's not a real tight cast on. So I'm not very far, as you can see. It'll come along a lot nicer once I'm further on, but just a few rows in. It has at the bottom, basically for 4 inches at the bottom, it has knit 2, purl 2 ribbing. Then you do 12 inches, I believe it is, just plain knit all around. So you're doing, I think that's called a stockinette stitch. And because it's in the round, it looks all knit on the side. And then another 4 inches of the knit 2, purl 2 at the top of the ribbing. So that's why it's called the sock head, because it looks like a sock, the ribbing on the sock and the main part of the sock. So I'll show you as I go along with this. I know right now on the second row I made a boo-boo. I left it. You can see the ribbing there. You might see a mistake or something there, but now that I got it down pat, it's hard to remember which you're on, knit 2, purl 2, if you go and put it down. Like right now, I'll probably have to go back to my stitch marker to go knit 2, purl 2 to figure out where I was, because as you just seen, I was fiddling around with this. I usually leave the tail end on the outside if I'm going to knit 2, the next 2 that I do, or I'll leave it on the inside if I was to purl. And you could also tell by when you're looking at the stitches from when you're in the knitting position, if there is bumps on the inside facing you, that means you purled the last 2 stitches. And if there is no bumps, that means you knitted the last 2 stitches. So you can go by that. So me just going by that, and that's when it is the working yarn is in your right hand if you're doing regular knitting, if you're doing continental knitting, if it's coming off of the right hook or needle. I say hook all the time because I'm more of a crocheter, but if it's coming off your right needle. So right now the bumps are actually, there is bumps, so that means I purled those last 2 stitches, the 2 before I knitted. Now I'll show you, see if you can tell. See how there's a little bump on the first 2 at the top, right under the loop. There's little bumps. Wait for the focus to come in. Try not to move so much. There we go. See, the first 2 have a bump right under the stitch, and the third and fourth one over don't. So those ones were the knit stitches. So that's how to tell. So if you're a knitter and don't know and you're going to be working up this pattern, that's a great way. I wish I knew that 4 rows ago, because that's where I made my mistake. But doing the German twisted cast on, 160 stitches. I didn't want to redo that again. And I thought to myself, you know what, that mistake is on row 2, and it will either be tucked in way down here if I do it that way, or it'll be scrunched up and be up around here, which you won't even notice anyway, because you'll see all the beautiful rows of knitting in the middle. So I'm not terribly worried about it. And I always believe too that it makes it more unique if you have a mistake, and makes it look at least like you know it's handmade. It's not something that's store purchased or anything, right? So I don't know, maybe that's me. I'm not OCD, as you could tell. It doesn't really bother me to have a little stitch off here or there. So I mean, knitting is a lot harder to take apart and like to go back to where you made the mistake. Like crochet, you just rip it out. Knitting, not so much. If you ripped it out, you would have to put it all back on the needles, and it's quite a process. If I was to do that, I would have just started all over again, and there would be 6 hours wasted, because it was 6 hours. By the time I watched a video on how to do the German twisted cast on, by the time I practiced that cast on for 4 or 5 times, and then I actually did the cast on for 160 stitches, checked them all out, and you know. The difference too with crochet, you can use a stitch marker in crochet that has a clip on it because you can remove it, right? And with knitting, you really should use something that's just a solid circle. So here's my little cute little stitch marker for knitting. It's a little angel. And see, it's just a solid loop. Because I put on those ones, the ones I would normally use for crochet, and it was so large, it actually just went around all my knitting, and I lost where I was supposed to have marked. And then I tried another one, and it fell off because it had just a little slit in it, so it kind of worked its way off. So that didn't work. So I had to go into my jewelry stash. So I found that in my jewelry making kit. I have a bunch of, I'm used to make earrings and sell earrings, and I found that in there because when I purchased those, I was going to take the circle part off and just use the little smaller circle that's underneath to attach to earrings. And now I'm going to keep them just like that and use them for stitch markers. There was angels, there was angel wings, there was a butterfly. I think there was 4 different ones. Beautiful. So I was ecstatic when I found those. Like, oh my gosh, I do have some knitting markers. I was going to use a little hair elastic, the little tiny, like almost like the plastic ones for looms when the little girls used to make the loom bracelets, but even those were a little too large. So I figured out that worked perfect. So I've been busy also training my dog, walking, trying not to get him to bark. That was that's a handful. The walking, he's doing awesome. The neighbors are all commenting, oh my gosh, your dog has just changed so quickly, just like overnight. So, and then he starts barking at them. And then I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm trying. It's quite a process to get a 4-year-old dog that used to like yap to say hi to people, and now to not be so yappy. He doesn't bark much when I'm out walking him. It's more when I stop and I'm talking to somebody, or if I'm sitting outside and people go by, he likes to bark because he wants them to come over to pet him. He doesn't understand that people aren't going to pet a barking little dog, because a lot of people are afraid of little dogs. But his tail's just going, he wants to play with everybody, but he doesn't understand. But we're working on that. I had no purchases this week to show you. Didn't go anywhere. That's it. No, have nothing. One full day I spent on the weekend, all day Sunday. So this is one of the questions I have for you, another one. I spent looking on YouTube, on Pinterest, on Ravelry for an easy sweater to knit. So what I'm basically looking for, and I mean knit, not crochet. I've made lots of sweaters crocheted. I can find lots of those. I want the knitted look one. So I want one that has the knit stitch all through the body. I'd like it to start at the top so that I can keep trying it on. So I make sure that it fits me. I want one that is in using circular needles. So I know it goes in one piece, most of them to here. I think they're called maybe a raglan type. And then you either put a lifeline on the sleeves, or you just put long knitting needles in there to hold it. And then you work the main body part, okay? And until you're done that, then you go back and do the sleeves from your lifeline, or those needles that you kept there. So that's something that I'm looking for. I don't want any cables in it or a bunch of lace work or anything. I just wanted the basic sweater pattern. So I don't mind paying. So if you have a video that shows how to do that, I've looked at Wool and the Gang has one out, but it's using very chunky yarn. And I just would like a lighter, like maybe even a DK weight or even a worsted weight, just a lighter sweater and just a pullover. Who else did I see? Seen a few, and they were just not that well. They weren't that well. There was one that was on Yarn Inspirations I watched last night, and it showed how to make it to that point, and then she just told you how to do the sleeves and what to do in words and didn't show you. So I was totally lost. So I got zoned out, and I put in the comments below, well, I hope that someday somebody can make a part 2 of this video to show how to make it. So that was the pattern that was perfect for me. It would have been awesome. The first part of the video was very explanatory. I don't know if that's a word, explanatory. But she explained it very, very well. She showed every step of the way, and then she lost me. Yeah. So if you have any like, I see the Grocery Girls Knit, they have so many beautiful sweaters that they do, and I've looked at the researched the patterns, but they're all purchase patterns. They say they're easy, but maybe not for me. Like I think I need a video to show me how to do that part. Once I know how to do that part, I feel like I can go back and do any kind of sweater pattern once I get it in my head how to do that type of thing. So once I figure it out and do it once, I think I could even come up with my own patterns, honestly. Like, it's just a matter of visually seeing somebody finish the sweater to know how to change things, because I've did it in crochet many times. I've made one thing and then go, oh, well, it clicks in my head how to do it, and I could make any type of pattern up afterwards. Honestly, once you know how the basics of it is, it's easy to do. So, but if anybody's a knitter out there has easy knitter pattern, or knows of a video that explains it, or a pattern that you can purchase that has really good pictures even, I would so greatly appreciate it. I'd love to have myself a new knitted sweater for the fall. I would just absolutely treasure it. So I thank you ahead of time if you do. I think I covered everything I wanted to chat about today. Oh, one thing I learned this week, I looked up, I've said in my weekly yarn basket and my yarn haul videos, a lot of the yarn has polyamide in it. And I wondered, what is polyamide? Well, I guess the next video, I will have a technical like wording of it, but it's basically like nylon, or it is a type of nylon. So it is doesn't have a pilling, it has a little stretch, it has good wear, it's that type of material. So I will have a technical term for it, or you could just Google what is polyamide, make sure to put the L in there, and it comes up in the search. So I read that and I was like, oh, I didn't know what that meant. Like, all this time I was wondering what polyamide was. So it answered my question. So hopefully it answers yours. When in doubt, always use Google. Like, honestly, Google's your friend. Like, it doesn't mean like if you have symptoms of something and you want to know what it is. I don't mean for being your own doctor or nurse or anything like that. But if you hear of a word and you want to know if it's a word or how it's spelt or anything, or like myself for the sweater, I've tried that route. I tried over and over and over. I tried all avenues that I'm aware of. So now this is my last resource, is asking all my fellow Yarny friends if they maybe have an answer for me for the sweater. So Google has failed me, Pinterest has failed me, Ravelry has failed me. But I know once I do it once, Ravelry, I will be addicted to knitting sweaters. So I will always, probably once I do it once, I know I'll have a sweater on my hook or on my needles. I keep saying hook, on my needles at all times. I just love it. I love switching, not working on the same thing all the time. Like, I have those sweaters, those squares for the Afghans, and then I'm working on my cowl sometimes when I have time to focus, like when nobody's home or everybody's in bed. That's when I have time to focus on an intricate pattern. And otherwise, if people are home, we're having conversation, I pick up a mindless thing like those squares for the Afghan. Once you get in the groove and you know your pattern, you just go to town. And again, with crochet, you could pull it out real easy, so it doesn't really matter. If you make a boo-boo, I went back 3 rows to realize that I forgot to do the corner and extend the corner. Did that twice now. So it's easy to make a mistake, but it's easy to fix a mistake in crochet, and that's one of the reasons why I love crochet. I should do that, right? A list of why I love to crochet, and boy, I bet that list is long. How about you? I'd love to know why it is you love to crochet. I have so many. I don't even want to mention one right now. I did just mention one, but yeah, I think I'm going to write a list because it's my passion and I love doing it and I love teaching. Another thing I was thinking this week to do is anybody who's local to me and knows me, okay? This is for all you guys who know me and are local, or even if you're not local, you know me, you're from out of town. Maybe we can still do this. We can work up some way to do this. But if you're interested and you crochet or knit, whichever, I'd love to have you on my show, like on my channel, to, not my show, but to do maybe either a live where we interact with people and answer questions, or for me to interview you and see what things you enjoy doing and have a little yarn chat just back and forth, so we can talk about different projects that you've done and that I've done and compare things. So I have a whole bunch of interesting things like that to talk about with somebody that actually is a fellow crocheter. So I would absolutely love if anybody is like that around me and reach out to me and we can do a chat. It doesn't have to be live. I've never did a live yet. I want to do a live, but I think I'm going to wait a little while to venture into that. I don't want to have the dog end up barking and going crazy because the mail lady's coming, and then having, a couple dozen people having to listen to that. So, but anyway, that was another idea I had. So if you are one of those people, let me know. Have a great day, everybody. And I hope you are all well, safe, and healthy. From Barb from my yarn room, keep on being naughty, everyone. Bye-bye for now. Thanks for watching.